Tom, are you okay?
I lost her.
Her?
She was going to be this epic trilogy-worthy character. I was going to be the hottest writer in Hollywood. But I can't get past Act 1.
You need some writers group therapy. Hello, and welcome to Writers Group Therapy.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Roshni. We're writers helping writers. Are you ready for your session? The doctors are in. So it's been interesting. You and I are both MoviePass members.
At least for a few more days.
Well, that's right, because you canceled your subscription.
I canceled.
I'm still holding on to mine. And, it just kind of brings up an interesting question, the whole subscription model, because I know TV's already kind of gone to that, and now movies are kind of going to that. So how does that affect us as writers?
Yeah, I found, with MoviePass, I was able to go to see a lot more movies and, movies I might not have paid to go see otherwise. So I think it was exposing me to a lot more, smaller indie art house kind of movies. And that's good because you get to see a lot of
Mhm.
more creative stuff than, kind of the big blockbuster summer stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me, before MoviePass, so full disclosure, I only had it. It's probably going on about a year now. I think I signed up around last fall. So it really changed how I went to the movies, because for me, I would only go at Christmas time when like the big movies that I was interested in seeing would come out, and maybe like one or two summer blockbusters. Nothing during the year really interested me. But because I already had this movie pass and had quote unquote already paid for the movie, I would go see anything and everything. And especially with the summer being so hot, we were always in the movie theater because they were like, it's air conditioned. But I did see a lot of things I probably wouldn't have paid to see. Like I saw Eighth Grade, that was really good. I saw the Mr. Rogers documentary, that was awesome. So I wouldn't have paid to see those normally. I would have waited for them to come out on DVD. But what's interesting is with MoviePass kind of being up in the air, and now AMC has introduced their own subscription based service. I forget what it's called, but it's the 3 movies a month thing.
The A-list.
A-list, yep, and Cinemark, I think, is coming out with one as well. There's still Cinemia floating out there as well. But the interesting thing, MoviePass, which is go to any well, before was go to any theater. Now you have these ones that are only for that specific theater, like the AMC or the Cinemark. That kind of changes how we view and consume movies, right? Because AMC wouldn't necessarily have independent films or documentaries.
Yeah, it depends on, the schedule and the time of year. Obviously in the off season, off of summer season, they'll show a little bit more variety. In the fall and the winter, you get the Oscar contenders, so you get a little bit more variety off season. But I think what you were saying was, the important thing is that's driving ticket sales to smaller movies, which makes, writers like us excited because we write movies that maybe aren't going to be huge blockbusters. It makes them more attractive because the investors think, oh, well, if we can use a platform like MoviePass to promote our film, we'll get ticket sales. And I think you saw, just like I did, that MoviePass actually started investing in actual films. They were buying films at the markets
Hmm.
and then promoting them through their, 2, 3 million subscribers through email to get you to go see the movies. And I don't have the data. I think you said they have the data, though, that shows that their ticket sales significantly increased.
I mean, there is research that suggests that having something like this program encourages people to go see movies across the board and not just your big blockbusters like the Avengers or, what have you. And as writers, we should be seeing, in theory, we should be seeing a bunch of different types of movies, independent films, art house films, documentaries, big blockbusters, unless you're like, all I really care is to write, Fast and Furious number 20, and then just, fine, go see a bunch of action movies. But in general, to become better writers, we need to consume a variety of things, correct?
Right. Sorry, I just had a vision of Vin Diesel driving with his turn signal on for 60 minutes. So, he's 80 years old and he's click, 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 click. Anyway, but yeah, exactly. The opportunities to get those movies out there into the market is increased because the distributors know they're going to have a better audience. So then we as writers would have more movies to see that would appeal to us and show us different styles and different qualities of writing versus just, how many aliens can you blow up or dinosaurs, running around.
Hmm. Now, it's interesting because you brought up a point off off camera, where you said that the TV show subscription model is better for writers than the movie subscription model.
Right. Well, when people are subscribing to these different channels, HBO Go, um, Hulu, Netflix, the new ones are like CBS All Access, and I just subscribed to DC Universe when I was down in Comic Con. And what's the other one? Disney's coming out with one,
Hmm.
and so everyone's going to have their own little marketplace to sell off their properties, their shows, and to keep people subscribed, you can't just have Game of Thrones for 8 weeks or whatever and then expect them to pay every month for the rest of the year. Unlike cable TV, where you subscribed and you just got the whole thing, now we are starting to like pick and choose. The cable cutters who don't have cable TV start adding up all these different services. So now I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Amazon, I subscribe to DC Universe. I might subscribe to Disney when it comes out, so it starts to add up and you wind up almost paying, you're getting up to the point where we're almost paying for actual cable. So, so that's a consumer kind of decision. But the cool part is all these channels have to have content enough to keep people subscribed. They want to keep you watching their channel so they keep making that money. So they have to start making more shows. So Game of Thrones pretty much had, or in Game of HBO pretty much had Game of Thrones, and then now they have Westworld as another big one. So they add in all these shows along the way, so throughout the year you've got some reason to stay subscribed and not just as soon as the season ends to cancel.
But it's interesting that you say that because Hulu and Netflix are more of like a smorgasbord of content, right? Because they're like the ABC, NBC of cable or streaming because they're trying to appeal to a wide variety of people versus Disney, which has its branding, or HBO, which has its branding. You're not going to find something like Game of Thrones on Disney because that's not Disney brand. So for stuff that is very branded, like HBO, like Disney, like DC Universe, how does that affect us as writers? Because that's such a narrow market. I mean, unless all you want to do is write for Disney, then cool, just buy the one. But if you're trying to write for a diverse market, that kind of hurts us as writers.
Well, I mean, things like Amazon, yeah, Amazon and Hulu and Netflix have a very wide variety of content from drama to comedy to sci-fi to action. They're pretty much doing it all. And well, Apple's going to be having their own content too. So I think, yeah, like there's going to be those big four, are probably going to be like the NBC, ABC, CBS, where they're going to try to have content for everyone. But then you're going to have some niche markets like Disney and there's new channels popping up all the time. Sci-Fi Go is a new web channel that'll be on Roku, I'm sure. Where they're niche markets where you can either subscribe or they're still doing commercial, supported content as well. Not all these channels are pay to view. Like Crackle has been
Oh
around for a
yeah.
long time. They show a lot of movies, but they have commercials. So it's kind of just another network like you're kind of used to on TV, but with commercials over the streaming. So there's going to be the chillers and the well, Stars has a paid program now. Showtime, they're all basically just cutting out the middleman in a lot of ways. So I don't know if they keep more revenue that way because they're when they pay you or when you pay them to watch their streaming channel on Roku or on your laptop or your phone, they're collecting that money and they're not having to pay the cable network for putting the show on the cable. Now, they're still doing both in some cases. But with these new channels that are just streaming on demand, I think the business model is changing for them. So they have the money coming in. So if they know they have 15 million people watching Game of Thrones on their streaming channel, they know that's a cash amount. They can figure out, okay, we know we're bringing in this much cash. So then they take that money, they turn around, well, let's make another show that will appeal to a similar audience, and so now they're hiring more writers to make more shows. Until, I mean, you look at Netflix, it's hard to look at the Netflix screen and even find a show that's not a Netflix original anymore.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I think it's it's a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's it's good for us because it
Yeah.
means more jobs, hopefully, but it's also bad because it really narrows what we can watch and learn from.
You it's kind of what's happened, like, even in the news media. I don't wanna get too far off base here, but, with the proliferation of cable news channels and blogs and things, people started watching news that only appealed to them, the stories that
True.
were written from the angle they liked. So yeah, so then CNN's gone downhill. They're supposed to be the middle ground. So it's gonna kinda be like that, but with genres. So people who like comedies are only gonna watch comedies, and then they're not gonna be exposed to other kinds of shows. Whereas NBC and ABC and CBS would give you a variety, so you would have more well-rounded viewing experience. You wouldn't be just watching sitcoms all day long. So, but we kind of like to gravitate towards what we like. So, give the audience what they want, as they used to say, and that's what they're doing. And people want to consume media in places they want. So that's why we're switching from things used to be tied down to a big giant TV in your living room, and now we're watching everywhere we want to be. So yeah,
Do you think that how do you say it, niche? Niche?
niche,
Niche?
niche,
Okay.
niche,
I never know.
niche, niche, or niche.
Yeah. But do you think that that kind of niche marketing is actually going to hurt us then as writers? If all you're doing is watching comedy, does that make you better or does that make you worse? I kind of wonder.
I
I mean, I don't think
Yeah,
there's an answer to that.
nah. I mean, as a writer, of action sci-fi, I naturally like that, so I'm watching a lot of it anyway.
Mhm.
I do watch comedies as well. So I just think, it depends on your preference. It's kind of like, you do what you love, you write what you love, and you do what you love. So why not, stick to that area? Now, some writers like to write in different genres, and that could be negative for them because we've talked about this, and goes back a long way. If you're a good writer of action movies, nobody's going to want to watch your, read your rom com because they go, "You're an action writer. Don't bring me that." So you kind of get pigeonholed in this industry anyway.
But I would argue if all you want to do is write action movies, maybe you should watch a drama or something just so you can write better characters.
Oh, of course.
I mean, there is a value in watching multiple, across genres. I would think. I could
Yeah.
be wrong.
No, you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, double-edged sword. I think it would make you better if all you watch is comedies. You'll be a great comedy writer, but at the same time, you might be weak on plot or something. I don't know, whatever. And so, how about for all of you? What do you think of all these new subscription services popping up? Let us know at WG Therapy on Twitter. You can also find us online at writersgrouptherapy.com. And if you like what you hear, subscribe and share it with your friends. Find us on iTunes, give us a great review. We'll see you next week.